We've been working on an online tracking and status monitoring system, and we are proud to announce that today we're launching it. So what we're going to talk about for the next half an hour or so is just kind of a brief overview of what this new system will do now and what it will do in the future, and how you can use the tool to manage your partnership and hopefully make all of this more efficient for everyone. So that includes, of course, the business partners, but also Climatewise staff. So with that, let's launch into My Climatewise. I want to talk first about some concepts. We'll go into a little bit of detail about the functionality, but there's going to be a little bit of change in concepts. So those of you that have been with Climatewise for a number of years will recognize some of these concepts. Others are going to be new. I want to preface this entire presentation with some of these new concepts so that as we move forward and roll this tool out over the next month or so, we're proceeding full steam ahead into 2010. So this whole notion of report as you go, those of you that have been with Climatewise for a number of years know that we have an annual project reporting process. Let's see, how do we say this nicely? It's fairly time intensive. It requires quite a bit of manual hand-holding, lots of emailing of spreadsheets and so forth. New partners, you can be glad that you will never have to do this. This system will take place of our old reporting system. So this notion of report as you go, so let's say you are a business and you complete an efficiency project January 2nd. You don't need to wait until March of the next year to report that project. Instead, you would go ahead and get on, log on to the new system and report that project as you go. It seems pretty straightforward, particularly as business people. I mean, that seems, that's the way things should be done. This is kind of a revolutionary concept for us. So this is a really important concept as we start talking about these other aspects. Report as you go. So keep that in the back of the mind. The other aspect is you will be able to manage and monitor your meeting attendance record throughout the year. It's a seemingly simple aspect of the program, meeting attendance. It's required for all partner levels that you attend partner meetings, but it's very, very difficult to track. And it requires manual data entry, requires phone calls, emails, all sorts of different things. The cool thing about this new system is that it's going to be a two-way conversation. We'll be able to log your meetings out if you attend and sign in. Likewise, if you attend and don't sign in, you can also log your meetings. So this is a pretty significant new concept. Again, new partners, you're probably thinking, well, this seems like pretty straightforward stuff. But again, for us, kind of the brave new world. This system is really about monitoring. So one of the big aspects you'll be able to do is monitor your partner level status. You will actually be inputting stuff into the system so that it's going to be an instant kind of feedback process. So this notion of monitoring and managing. Also be able to manage your business contacts. Managing multiple points of contacts, particularly for larger businesses, is a pretty cumbersome process. From this point on, businesses will be doing that themselves. Actually, you can add your green team, delete your green team, almost at will. So all in all, what we're talking about is partnership management. When we talk about Climatewise businesses, we talk about partnerships. This is going to be the new way to manage this whole process. So let's dive in a little bit of detail here. This new system is password protected. It uses a very rigorous authentication process. So those of you that are used to online banking and that type of a thing, it essentially uses the same type of password protected access, which means that we continue to keep your business data in confidence. So only businesses that are assigned, or only contacts that are assigned to that business can actually access this system. And so what you'll find, though, you have a little bit of flexibility in that you can add and delete those contacts. But be rest assured that it's behind a very thick firewall. So in phase one, which we're launching today, There's 4 big pieces of functionality that we're looking at. Like I already said, contacts management, project and data reporting, and we'll go into detail a little bit about that. Particularly new partners are going to be probably freaked out big time about the project and reporting piece. But I'll say this right now because I'm going to repeat it. There's going to be a lot more guidance coming out about project reporting. We would do that anyway. But because we're doing a new system, there's going to be lots and lots of hand-holding over the next couple of months. So don't get freaked out, promise, don't get freaked out. All in all, it's going to make this process so much more efficient. Meeting attendance, as we already talked about, and then there'll be lots and lots of online guidance. So I'm going to roll through some of the functionality using real screen captures from what the system looks like. When you log on to My Climatewise, you're actually logging on to a City of Fort Collins website. And you'll notice, those of you that are kind of tech-oriented will notice that it's a secure website. We will be creating, from the Climatewise perspective, the initial login for each of our partner businesses. At that point, the principal point of contact is welcome and encouraged to create any number of contacts for the rest of your team. There are a lot of businesses that have a single point of contact, but some of the larger businesses may have 4 or 5, as many as 15 points of contact for that business. The businesses will now be able to manage those lists accordingly. And it's an easy process, very, very dynamic. You can use any browser that's connected to the internet to access this system, although I haven't tried with a smartphone yet. But I have tried with every other type of browser in any configuration that I could think of, and it all works the same. So what's kind of cool is that in the old days, you would have to be somewhere where you had your Excel running and maybe piles of paper. I can envision now that you could do your reporting, so that little bit of your 11 hours per year working on your Climatewise partnership, you could do the reporting at the coffee shop, which to me, and that's always, that whenever you can do your work at a coffee shop, that means that you're moving in a sustainable direction. That to me is a good indicator that we're moving in the right direction. We have established a website on a web page rather on our regular website that will kind of be the portal or the focal point, the jumping off spot for My Climatewise. This URL is live, the mycw.php page. If you were to access it, say right now, you'll see that it's very clearly under development, but know that this will be a static URL so that you don't have to remember the extended, secure site. So always go here. There'll be quick links to all sorts of resources, lots of guidance, and so forth. So getting back to accessing Climatewise, what we're looking at here is simply logging in. Everyone's login will be based on the email address that we have on file. So for most folks, that's their work email address. And we will be creating your initial password. At that point, you can change your password. In fact, we encourage you to do that to anything you want. And at that point, we cannot log in using your credentials. So those passwords are stored in a database, and they are, we can't read them. They're stored as stars. And so again, it's a very typical, but very kind of high-end authentication system. So those of you that might be concerned about some of the information that you eventually may be reporting, again, be rest assured that it's behind a thick web of security. So we've organized the website around this kind of common framework. So we've separated these different requirements by their partner level, and essentially it allows the business now to upload documentation, complete forms, whatever the case may be, for each of those partner level requirements. Once you do that, it actually changes the icon status. So if you were to run up to the screen now, you would see that for all requirements that have yet to be completed, you have a green plus sign. Once you submit documentation for that requirement, it turns to a yellow check. Once it's been approved, it turns to a green check. So the next time you log in, you can do a quick scan of that page and know exactly where you are in terms of meeting that partner level requirements for that given year. Okay? So that whole manual process of having to call Climatewise Central and saying, so where are we again? Especially right around early December, where folks start to panic big time, you don't have to do that anymore. You can log on anytime, know exactly where you are. The red arrow is showing that business contact information, so that includes both the designated contacts are listed over on the left side of that window. You will be able to edit your business contact info as well as the individual staff on that, so you have a high level of control. Eventually, we are going to use this database as our primary contacts database. So the thought is the businesses are keeping their information up to date. We always are using the most current information for you. So what the screen is showing us is essentially what that contacts management piece looks like. It's actually very, very straightforward. There's that little link there where you can add a contact. Assuming that a login has been created for that point of contact, you simply just put that person's email address in there and you're good to go. We are going to roll out this initial set of contacts, or logins rather, and we can do that kind of in mass, so we'll kind of bulk register everyone. The subsequent logins you can create on your own. So you literally can go request another account for one of your colleagues. They'll receive an activation email, and you attach that email to your business record, and you're good to go. If you ever want to remove someone, you simply click on the red X, and there they go. They're off. So it's a very, very live, very, very dynamic contact management system. And all of this is being put into a live database. And so there's no more of that double entering, triple entering type of a thing. So those of you that have reported projects in the past know that we had a fairly sophisticated Excel spreadsheet, multi-tabbed, sophisticated in that it was dense. But it was also very cumbersome, took time, lots of hand-holding needed and so forth. We've adapted the concepts around project reporting. That is the same types of projects, energy, water, waste, transportation, in other projects, but we've pushed all of this up to this live database. So let's drill down a teeny bit here. The thought is that for 2009, all projects completed this year will be reported in the new system. So those of you that think you might miss the Excel spreadsheets, I apologize for that. Everyone else, we are at that juncture. We will no longer be using those. So the 2009 partners have never seen anything else. Those of you will just have to deal with missing the Excel process. So the thought is that our annual reporting process, which kicks off January 1st, will be completed using My Climatewise this year. So this is simply an example of what one of the reporting forms look like. And if you look at these in detail, what you'll see is that it's essentially the same information that we were collecting in Excel. Now there's actually there's going to be more and more context help. So there'll be little blue question marks everywhere that include examples of what a certain type of project, how that might be reported. You simply log in your information, hit the submit button at the end. We are then notified that a submission has happened. We'll review it as we have in the past, approve it, and you're done. The functionality, it does allow you to go back and edit reports. And so if you find that you added a 0 or left a 0 off, it's actually more common that folks under-report than over-report, interestingly enough. There's a lot of forms and such that are also part of Climatewise. Those of you that have been working on upper partner level requirements, gold and platinum, know about, say, the poster form right around Envirobation or the recognition event. Those type of forms are going to be pushed up to My Climatewise, so you'd actually fill those out online directly. Other forms, like the greenhouse gas baseline tool, will stay, at least for the time being, as an Excel spreadsheet. It's a very complicated Excel spreadsheet with lots and lots of macros, so it's going to take us some time to push that up. So for now, that will stay as a standalone, but what will change here is that you'll download the form from within My Climatewise, edit it locally, and then submit it back to My Climatewise. So you won't be emailing those back to who, but rather submitting it directly into the system. Then you can always look at what you submitted. So whatever you submit, you can look at again, which is a pretty cool part of the system. Again, it's that ongoing kind of status checking type of functionality. So again, most of those forms we are going to push up to the system. So no longer will there be all these Word documents or PDFs and that type of a thing. The meeting attendance piece is actually pretty cool, and What you'll be able to do is review all your meeting attendance to date. So as long as you're signing in and identifying your place of employment, we will log those meetings out for you in My Climatewise, so that the next time you log on, you'll actually have a list of the meetings you've attended for the year, as well as upcoming opportunities. So that's what we're looking at on this screen. The summary here are all the meetings that this particular individual from the city of Fort Collins has attended, and then at the end are the upcoming meetings. And as we get towards the end of the year, of course, that list on the bottom just gets narrower and narrower. And for those that may not have attended meetings and are still going for a partner level, that might be a really good indication of where that meeting threshold is going to be. So when there's only 2 left, it might be time to rearrange the schedule. But like I mentioned before, it's a kind of a two-way process. We do occasionally, particularly if you come into a meeting late, you may not properly sign in. If you don't do that, we don't know you were there. But My Climatewise will allow you to say that you were there, and then we'll simply confirm that and then check that off. And so it's kind of a two-way kind of situation. So again, there's usually 15 to 20 meeting opportunities per year. They'll all be listed in here. So you can also use this in conjunction with the meeting calendar to kind of plan out your year. And we'll try to get these up as early in the year as possible. So the question was, are you able to enter meetings that were not sponsored by Climatewise? Generally, the official meetings, so the meetings that count, are ones that we would list here. If you've attended some type of educational type of thing that had a nice connection with your business and helps you reach your environmental goals, we will often give a business maybe one equivalency per year. If that's the case, there will be an opportunity to kind of log that in, but it also may be an opportunity to touch base directly with Climatewise staff, and then we could administratively override the system as well. So it's kind of a wishy-washy to answer the question that yes, but not all meetings would potentially count. So the question was, is there any reciprocity with USGBC, so the U.S. Green Building Council? And we've actually already worked out a level of relationship with the Green Building Council to allow some of those seminars to count as Climatewise meetings. So that's why the range is usually between 15, 20, or 20 per year. Some of the USGBC meetings count, some of the Chamber of Commerce meetings count, like the Environmental Committee, environmental seminars and so forth. As we kind of designate those meetings as official, they will also get listed in the system. So they will show up. And we're always trying to broaden that, the meeting opportunity. And so 15 to 20 minimum, I mean, who knows in 2010? It's just there's so many opportunities for ongoing kind of education that we'll make sure that it's all encompassing. So the database is live. There's some roughness, things that we're in the process of fixing right now that we're hoping to get finalized in the next 2 or 3 weeks. The idea is that everyone in the program, so all business contacts in the program, have their credentials by December 1st, and then we'll start rolling out a number of educational opportunities, online guidance. We'll certainly be doing some reporting workshops in the first part of next year, as we have in years past. So lots and lots of opportunities to kind of ramp up on the new system. But the idea is to have this up and running before the end of the year. Comprehensive guidance, so there'll be lots of in-context stuff, so lots of screen captures, visual type of things, on the website itself as well as on FC.gov, so you wouldn't have to log on to access that. Again, the goal is that all partner level related reporting for 2009, so that's calendar year 2009, will be done in the new system. So just kind of keep that back in the mind. The deadline, say for finalizing your project reports, uploading documentation and so forth, will be the same as in years past. So that's the first, the early part of March. So we still quite a bit of time, to close some of these gaps. But the cool thing is that you're not going to have to wait anymore. So again, if you're chomping at the bit, ready to go, let me know and we'll get you signed up right away. This is phase 1. We already have a phase 2, and I've already started the phase 3 list. of functionality. So know that what you're looking at is really just the foundation of a vision that we have that will really be a comprehensive type of system. So that would include more and more reporting tools for you, our partner businesses, to allow you to summarize progress to date or summarize progress over a number of years. So this will be a multi-year data system. So everything that you've done in your Climatewise partnership to date will eventually be captured in the system. You'll be able to do graphing and that type of a thing. So you can literally summarize for your managers what's been going on, essentially the impact of these programs that you all are implementing. There's a lot of administrative tools as well that we're planning to implement that will help us manage your partnership more efficiently. So as those tools start to come online, of course, we'll be in clear communication, giving you the heads up that that's coming. The question was, has everything that's been submitted thus far been entered into the data system? The answer is no. So what you will find if you access the system now is that it does not reflect anything about your current status. So one of the things that we need to do, that we're doing from our end over the next month or so, is updating 2009 progress. We're already doing that with the meetings. So you'll see, some of you will actually see almost a current status. Others will, we'll see basically a blank slate. So we're in the process of doing that. We don't have any plans right now to update the 2008 tab, but you could do that if you would like. So we're kind of prioritizing on the current year so that even in the next couple of weeks, 3 weeks, partners can log on and see exactly where they are. So if they need to, kind of light the fire a little in December, that there's still an opportunity to do that. Thanks so much, everyone. Appreciate it.